Oh, so it's the opportunity again, and this is Blue Sky Citadel, and it's API class number 2. So basically, what we'll be doing today is we'll be having a recap of what we did last week, and then we'll be looking at some basic REST assured automation, just so that we have an understanding of how we can approach API testing using Selenium, Java, and Cucumber. Yeah. So yeah, before we proceed, before we proceed, I just want to ask everyone, how is everyone doing? And have you been able to do a lot more research into what we did last week? And if you have any questions, we can quickly use the next 5 minutes to answer any query. So that would just be like a recap of what we did last week. Then I can just proceed to what we have for today. If you're not speaking or anything, please can you mute your mic? So if you have any questions, if I'm sure that people will have questions. So if you are new to something and you don't know something, you definitely have questions. So if you, it's just, don't be, just type a question into the chat. Any question is welcome. Don't feel that your question doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Can everyone hear me? If you can hear me, can you just type yes? All right, so if you can hear me, can you ask me a question then? Yeah, people are typing capital yes and yes, so you can hear me, you can always hear me, okay. All right, if in the absence of any question, I assume that you all know what API testing is. You all are professionals now in API testing, then I will proceed to what we have for today. So I'll just do a quick recap of what we did last week. We gave an introduction into API testing. API testing is application programming interface, and it's just a communication protocol between two different interfaces. We give an example of an ATM cache point and how it works, and how the API calls are transferred between the different interfaces of the API machine. We also give an example of how you make API calls when you request for hotel services, hotel bookings, airline bookings, weather forecast, and even to log into your Gmail, Facebook, and all that. You're dealing with API calls and all that. From there, we spoke about why we need to be using API. I gave an example of Sainsbury's, and having so when you log into Sainsbury's, you have your account profile. You are able to see the stock items. You are able to make payments. You are able to do so many things. So if you breaking this down, it's just like like sub departments of the website. So your profile, where your account's profile information is stored, might be a microservice. Where the stock, the list of items they put on the shelf is, might be a microservice. Your payment system might be a microservice, and so many other things that might be a microservice. And also, when you look at Sainsbury's as well, they might have, I don't know, I don't know I can't remember what the website is. So all these little sub departments of the website, as let's also assume that they are microservices. So if, for instance, they are carrying out maintenance work on your account profile, Sainsbury's will not, say because they want to maintain the account account profile microservices, and then decide to shut down with their website. So they might say to you, they might write an email to say, okay, at 12 midnight on Friday evening, we'll be having some maintenance going on our application here. So rather than them, saying, okay, you can't access the website between 12 and 1 a.m. in the morning, they might just say, okay, there might be limited services, and they will, apologize for whatever they want to do. And so when you try to say, okay, I want to buy milk from the website at 12 midnight on Friday evening, you will still be able to see your milk. You'll still be able to see the price. But the thing is that you might not be able to log in and access your account and then look at your details or your address or update your address and all that. Well, the basic thing that the website will still be hosted and everything will still be working. That's why a lot of companies use microservices, so that one part of the application will still work while the other part is under maintenance or being updated or whatever. So that's about microservices. And we spoke about these microservices talking to each other. They make use of web protocol, API protocols, talking to each other, transferring messages between each other, So there's a business logic, and within that business logic, so it takes us to the business logic, which is the API layer, and where all the API logic is. Sorry, the API logic where all the business logic is as well. And then we have your front end, we have your back end. And so when there's a request between the front end and the back end, it goes through the API logic. There is what they call authorization. Authorization is your login in a simple man's term, your username and password. There might be within that username and password, there might be some validation that needs to happen, such as your password must not be more than 100 characters. So if you try to enter your password with 101 characters, it will bounce back. And other thing, so your username too might be like, okay, it accepts anything between so there's something they call regex. If you need to Google what regex is, regex. So it's basically let me just show you so that you understand what regex is, right? So so these are things that so for instance now if this is something they call regex, right? Yeah. So this, if you look at the definition of this regex, I'm just, to be honest, I'm just trying to tell you how validation works. It's part of API, but it's something that you just be aware of it. You might not need to know it from now, but when you start working in using API, then you might, start understanding what this means. So basically, this means anything from any alphabet A to Z. And then I think it also means, if I'm correct, it also means that maybe you can pass in digits as well. So yeah, okay. So yeah. So it's basically any alphabet A to Z. So if I try and do something, if I try and write 9, no, let me go to the tests. Add the tests. So yeah, you see, text, yeah. So if I say 9, it failed. But if I say A, yeah. So no. So and to be honest, it works. There are some other, basically it just accepts validation and all that. So there are some, hold on. Just hold on a second. So you accept enter your text there. So if I add 9, still accepting 9. To be honest, this is how regex works. It's a bit complex, and you have to take your time to understand it. So I'll leave it as that. So apart from the validation that occurs between your API levels, there are so many other things that also happens. You have your API logic will understand what is being passed as the body parameter if it is a post request, and if it's a GET request, it understands what the URL should pass back as responses and all that. So we also looked at parts. Different types of API. We have the SOAP REST APIs. So, and we'll be looking at simple REST call using Selenium and Java tonight. Just simple. We spoke about differences between REST and the SOAP. And then we looked at We looked at the HTTP verbs. We looked at what is the endpoint, which is also called the URL, Uniform Resource Locator. We looked at the request body, request headers, so one thing that you need to, yeah, these are the things. So I think I showed you the same thing on Postman last week. So we'll do a recap of that as well. Then I told you about the CRUD verbs. So to be honest, if you have watched the video from last week, everybody should be happy. You should be able to list the five, at least these five CRUD verbs for API testing. I also broke down what a URL, URI, or an API URL or endpoint, what the URI is. We have the protocol, the path, the resource path, and the query part of it as well. So then I talked about, the different kinds of headers, body parameters that you need to pass when you are carrying out an API call. So we talked about, authorization, content type, and I showed you on Postman as well. And I told you about also the body formats as well and all that. So, and last week as well, we spoke about error codes, what they mean, and how they are being, what their description is. So in a nutshell, we've been able to talk about API, so many things about API in the class of last week. Before I proceed, I'm not sure whether someone has a. Yeah. So there's an API involved in online banking transaction. Just, it might not be visible to you, but you might be quite, there will be API, because you have, in a banking application, you have different things talking to each other. I gave you an example last week. I told you about when you want to transfer money from TSB to Barclays. There's an API call that happens in the backend that is not visible to you as a user. All you're just punching is your account number, account details of the person that you want to send money to. And then Barclays and TSB will take your request. Once they take your request, they pass it in the backend to Barclays, through an API call. So those are different things that you can use API for. A good learning curve will be for you to Google what API is and examples of how we use API. I've given you basic examples, like when you are trying to request the weather forecast for a particular location. That's an easy example of what you can use API for. Yeah. All right. So also we looked at Postman last week. We looked at we looked at this website. I don't know whether you guys have gone to this website to go and play around with it. It's a simple, easy to use example of API. So we looked at this. I showed you what a GET request is. I showed you what a POST request is. What you need to do when you make a POST request. Message error copy not found. Yeah, so it's not a reliable, to be honest, it's not really reliable API. But let's see. Yeah, so when you are carrying out a POST request, you need to have the correct path. So this is the path, and hold on a second. If I duplicate this, so if I go back to the beginning, the home page. So we have the endpoint, and this is the path. This is the call route as well. So this is the end. This is the path that you need to go to create a post, and to create a post request, and then you need to pass something. I gave you an example of a post request. Is, for instance, every time you log into an application with a username and password, you need to specify who you are, and specifying who you are is a post request. So you need to pass in, maybe your name and your password. That's an easy example, and then it goes into the backend. There's verification of that, and then you get a 200 or 202 saying it's accepted, and then you're able to log in into the application. So the same thing goes for this one as well. So this is the results. So if you pass this in your body, I showed you in, on Postman last week, you're able to get this as your status body response or results. All right, so let's dive quickly into what we are going to do today. I'll just quickly go on through onto this. Let me see. I'll be very fast because I just want to cover finish up this intro today, and yeah. So basically, how do we test APIs? Now, so the first thing that we need to understand, as I told you last week, is when you are being given an endpoint, when you are being asked to test an API, there are so many things that you need to specify or have understanding of. So the first thing is, okay, let me just throw the question now. Let's make it a bit interactive, if you don't mind today. You can just type the answers. Okay, so if I gave you, so if I was a developer or I was your business owner or BA, and I said to you, or I'm your test lead, and I said to you, okay, test this endpoint to me. What are the questions that you would ask me if about the endpoint? So if somebody can just type answers and let's see. So for instance, if I gave you this if I gave you this endpoint, this get endpoint, yeah, so yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I've already given you the URL. Yeah, so I've given you the URL. What would be your next question to me? So you have the URL www.wapi.com. Yeah, and then what would be your next response? Next response. So don't be shy. Just type anything. Yeah. What should I test? Yeah. What should you test? And when you're answering that question, what should you test? There are some specific things which I've mentioned this evening that you need to. The first most important thing which I mentioned this evening about that what do you want to test the website? The answer is even on the screen. To be honest, the answer is on the screen. So what are you doing with that? What are you doing with that URL? What are you doing with the URL? Are you going to be? I'm not going to tell you the answer. What are you? So if you are using that URL, yeah, can I add? Can I update? That's fine. That's good. Yeah. So the thing is that what do you want to do with the URL? What method? What API method are you passing? Are you going to carry out with the URL? So that's it. So that's important. Yeah. So some of the other things that you might also want to ask the developer is before I use this URL, yeah, or endpoint, am I limited by any form of authorization? So in terms of do I need so let me while I'm talking about that, I need to flip to IntelliJ and show you sorry, I need to flip to Postman, sorry. So that's fine. So while you are asking, so you've already asked, you can see my Postman now, right? So while you've asked him about, okay, this is the method that you want to do a get method, that's fine. The next question is, are there any form of authorization? All right, so authorization might mean like, so it's just like you want to access a resource, but the resource is not something that you can just, so this particular one we're using doesn't need any form of authorization. It's just like free for all. When you click when you get requests, this is you should get 200 or whatever. Yeah, but there are some applications that require you to log in. So you want to use Facebook, but you need to log in. So it's the same thing like this one as well. You want to access an endpoint, right? So let's say that you are a tester, you want to access maybe like Barclays endpoint that sends money to another bank. You would not necessarily just go to that endpoint and click get, and then it will get you all the list of accounts that you want to transfer money for. You need to go there with some form of authorization. So these are the kinds of authorization that you might probably be asking them. Does it use an API key? Is it a bearer token? Is it a basic auth? Is he, does he require AWS signature, client secret ID or client ID and all that? So those are the kind of thing, client secret or client ID and all that. So those are the kind of things that you need to ask them, So you need to pass this. It's just that I didn't. Well, I would have quickly shown you a typical example, but I didn't. I didn't plan to do that this evening. No, I didn't plan to do that this evening. That would just, derail me. But what I just wanted to understand is that you need to ask some questions. So authorization is part of it. Then one of the other questions that you can ask is, all right, so is there, if you're making a GET request, right, what do you expect to see in the body? So this one is saying that, 1 second. This one is saying that, yeah, I think my IP has been blocked. So okay, it should work now. Let me see, it should work now. All right. So another question that you need to ask, and you need to ask is, all right, what will be the response body? What will the response body look like? There's no point you testing this API, this API, without knowing what will be the response, So you need to understand what the response is. It has to be specified. So basically, before you even test this API, in some places where they are well structured, they have proper structure in terms of what they're doing for testing, they will say to you, okay, this is your API, all right. Okay, we are going to be building an API that gets us all the, okay, let's say we are working for, okay, we are a business that has chain of hotels all over the world, right? Now we want to build an application so that our customers can go to that application and then request for hotels, in any location, right? So they'll say, okay, this is our API. So when our clients, go to the website, this API is hiding at the back of one button, right? So when they make their request, this API, when they make this link is at the back of, let's say this is our website. This link is hiding behind the send website, this send button. So when they click on this send, when they enter their location, they click on this send, then we need to have a list of hotels, and their location, and maybe, so let's say the hotel will give us location, and the results will have the location, it will have the country, it will have, just everything that you would have, state, city, country, let's say those are the three things. You want to have, you want to know how the results will come out. So these are the kind of things you need to ask the developer. So they will give you like, they will give you like a sample. Okay, sample is like this one. It might just be in the same format. So for instance, this employee one, the sample is, there must be, if it is a 200 which is successful, there must be a header, there must be a JSON object with a status called success, and then the data within it must have the ID, employee name, employee salary, profile name, and all that. And then there must be another object with successful blah blah blah. So if you now go and if you are now testing this and you don't get this, then maybe maybe like half of this thing is empty. Then you know that there's a problem somewhere. So you need to call the attention of the developer to it. So we have spoken about validation. So validation will say how many strings can be, how many characters can you have in the name. So maybe they might say the limit is 100 characters, blah blah blah. So if you go over 100, then you would have like a bad request or something, 400, or whatever. So and then the other things that you might also need to ask is, okay, for a success request, am I going to be getting a 200, or am I going to be getting a 202, or am I going to be getting a 201? They need to specify it. So because every success request is tied to a particular status code. So you don't want to have want to have success and you're getting maybe 400 or 500 or whatever. So those are the things you need to ask them as well. It will be stated properly in the request spec. So so those are the kind of things, and then if you're having any error, so let's say now we have things like error. So you need to validate error. So okay, well, this one is coming up as null, but let me let me do something. So they will specify that, all right, if you pass a string, if you are not getting the right response, then the error message should look like this. They should tell you, yeah, this is okay. Well, okay, so they should say to you that, you know what, if they should tell you the format of the error message. This is how your error message should look like, and they will say, okay, this is the string in the error message, or the that, for instance, on this one it says 1 second, I can. For instance, it says too many requests or something, but there's something here within this HTML or whatever, this body response that has that. So they will specify you. They will tell you exactly at each interval. So maybe when when you are passing the wrong URL, is going to say, oh, this URL is wrong. They will tell you this is the error message that you have when you have passed the wrong endpoint, or maybe when you are looking for something that does not exist. You are looking for something that does not exist, then it will tell you, you see exactly. So this is what I'm trying to say, 404 not found, right? So they'll say, okay, all right, when you pass a non-existing, when you are asking for a non-existing resource, this is the error message that you must get. So if you're now passing something that does not exist, and you're getting something like, oh, this is too many requests, then you know that this is wrong. So those are the kind of things that you need to ask them. Okay, what error messages will I get when I'm looking for, when I get a 404? What error messages will I get when I get a 500? When I get a 403? When I get a 400? Or when I get a 200? So they'll tell you validation messages. These are what you are going to get, and these are the kind of things you need to ask them for. So the next thing that will, sorry, 1 second, so the next thing is to, so the next thing, we've already spoken about it last week as well. So you now need to decide what tools do you want to, so we must ask what we will see in the body of a get call, for example. If you are validating, are we going to the validating based on the body or just seeing the 200? So you need to ask for the two. It has to be the two. So if you are doing, success status code is 200, right? So they will specify, so in the request spec, they will specify what you would have for each error and each success criteria. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So for each success criteria, they will say, okay, you get 200, and this is the message. For failure, user errors or failure status code, maybe 400, this is what you get. For a 404, which is not found, this is what you get. This is the message that will pop up. A manual tester can go into API testing as soon as there's no distinction, as soon as possible. If you know what it's basically just understanding what you need to test. See, what I've given, if you go back and watch my video and listen to what I've said to you and try to take some notes from it and do some research into it, then you can do API testing. Honestly, I've tried in the last one week, or in the last two lectures, that this one and last week and this lecture, to give you an understanding of, okay, you know what, if you even get a phone call, you should be able to talk about so many things, because I've been able to give you so much information, right? So you just imagine someone is calling you and you're saying, oh, I know what is 200 success status code? How do you test API? What are the kind of things that you need to ask for when you are testing an API? What is an endpoint? You know, what happens? What types of API? What are the types of API that we have? REST API, SOAP API. What are the differences? If you tell them all these things, man, on a telephone call, they will invite you to an interview, face-to-face interview. Honestly, I won't lie to you. So don't just discard, oh, it's just 1 week. You just thought of something last week for 1.5 hours, and it's talking to us again for another 40 minutes now. Whatever I've told you in the last let's say cumulative in the last 2.5 hours, whatever, will get you an interview. Honestly. And if you know what you're doing very well, you get the job, honestly. Yeah. So that's it. So we spoke about, so I've showed you, and the good thing is that not only have we been doing theory, I showed you Postman. I expected that some people would have gone to download Postman. I gave you this dummy URL. You could have, I expected that you would have you would have tried to replicate whatever we did last week. In a nutshell. So Postman is a very, very basic tool to test APIs. There's another one called SOAP UI. There's one called Swagger. So Swagger is also an API implementation as well. So you can also use Swagger as well. So you can Google it. There are so many tools that you can use to test API. But Postman is well known. You can use it to test both SOAP and API requests. And REST requests, sorry. So all right. So another thing, I think last week I also covered something. I told you about happy path. Happy path are the positive path. I gave you a very good example of how you want to, if you are going to test a car door. I told you that I make distinction between how the car door, how the car key is supposed to operate, the lock is supposed to operate, and if you look at the inverse of those normal scenarios, so inverse means like the opposite of those normal scenarios would be like your negative part. So you want to just test to the extreme to say, okay, you know what, this door, I'm expected that when I open this, when I press my remote control, whatever, my door the lock should pop up and I should be able to enter the car. So the extreme is you don't want to press your remote control, but you expect that lock, that pin will pop out and you enter the car. You have to test that. That's the extreme. You want to see, because you don't want that product to go out and maybe like like a remote control. You don't have to, maybe like an infrared. My screen now.
Yes, we can.
Yeah, okay. I think Postman went, I don't know, crashed or something. Let me try and restart it. All right, so happy path is just like, you have, okay, so another good example is you have your username and password, which is, I don't like using username and password because yeah, so I don't like using username and password. It's better that you use something, everybody uses username and password, so I don't like using it because it's so common. Well, you can look for, but it's to make things easier, let's use username and password. So for instance, now the expectation is that you have a username and your password, right? That's the happy path. Okay, you want to log in and you put your username, you put your. All right, so what we'll now do is so I was talking about happy path and negative path, right? So a typical example is I was talking about login and password, username and password, which is a typical example of that. So the happy part would be that you would have your username and your password, and then you log into the application, right? So the negative part is that you want to try and log in without maybe your username. You only put your password with the username blank, or you put in so you want to try without the password. You want to try with the username. You want to try with everything blank, username and password blank. So those are the kind of things that you put as negative negative part. And I think I told you last week that one of the things that you can do is like maybe you can make your URL. You can try and if they say that URL, when you use these gets, so when you use this, all right. So you know what? Well, let's just move to let's just do IntelliJ now, and we'll take it from there. So where are we? Okay. So what I have here is yeah, I'm a bit. So okay, all right. So what I have here is a simple. Basically, I'm just going to be showing you. I'm going to redo this test because I was going to show you how to do it from scratch. It's just basic. I'll just explain it to you. It is something anybody can copy. I will post the code in the chat. You can go and replicate it or try to write it yourself. So basically, what I've done is I'm just going to let me just try and redo it. All I need to do is copy this. So if I start a new new project, open new, sorry, new project, right? New project. Yeah. So can you see the Maven dialog box open up, or dialog? Can you see it? Are you able to see that? Are you able to see the screen with the Maven, Java, Gradle, and all that?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Yeah, cool. So I'm just going to do a simple Maven project, basically. So click on next, and then I'll just call it anything, just sample REST test, right? So finish, new window, yeah. So for, I'm sure that you would have told, you guys would have been doing some form of automation class, but this is just like a recap. I'm building a framework from scratch, but it's a very, very direct, I'm just doing REST. So the next thing that you want to do is, I'm not going to be doing the feature files. So I just want to go into my source directory, and then go into my Java directory. I'm going to create a new Java class. Yep, and I call it example REST test, yeah. And then within that, I declare a public void method. So yep. So I just want to call it public void main method. So, and then within it, so the first thing I'm going to write is the rest. So we're going to basically use the URI. We're going to declare URI as something, right? So what's that? What we are declaring it? So let me make use of this one. Sure, let me just copy the whole code, and I explain it to you. One second. All right. So, so basically what I've done here is I've set up I've created a method, right? And within that method, it's a void method because it's returning nothing, right? And what I've done is I have declared my base URI. So the URI is the is the URL that we are looking at. So let us just use this JSON, I'm doing a SQL test. Let's just use that. It's another endpoint. And within this, I've also done another, I've also created another get request request method, right? And within the get request method, we are using the rest assured syntax. So my response, there's a response variable, and inside my response variable, I want to, so basically what I'm saying is that, okay, everything I'm going to be doing here, yeah, I want to store it into this response, right? And then, we talked about content type. So our content type is JSON, what we want to pass. So if you go to this website, if I open this website up, I'm going to open this website for you later. The content within this website is in JSON content, right? And then when I get my posts, then my response, then I want to extract my response, which I want to store into this. So basically, I'm saying when I send my content, when I state my content type as JSON, yeah. So given I state my content type as JSON, right? When I get this path, then I want to extract my method and store it in this response. So that's basically what we are doing. And then you just create an assertion, right? So I only wrote this one there because I wanted it to fail. So we have been looking at, we know that 200 is a status code that gives us okay, that comes back with okay, right? And then this is something okay. So, and then within the code as well, we are saying that we want to assert that our response contain this string, this one, blah, 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 this string title 1. So the thing is that I would have used that dummy website, but that dummy website is not reliable, and I can still use it, to be honest. Let me try and see if we can use it. So 1 second. I want to try and get the URL. So copy. So let's see if the URL will work. Yep. So when I get my slash.
We can see the IntelliJ. We can see this the screen that you're showing.
Oh, you cannot see my class.
We can see the IntelliJ. You can see the class on IntelliJ.
But you cannot see my other my presentation.
No, not now.
Okay, let me just share my own screen then. Let me just stop and share my own screen. So you can see the presentation now. If I go to the presentation, you can see this one, right? Presentation, right? Okay. So let's just so let me cross out this assertion for now, right? So the first thing that we do is it's a Maven project anyway, so we need to import some classes or libraries to our Maven and to our project, right? So the first thing is I'm going to add the JUnits path. So it's taking a while. It's just, yeah, so I've done that import. Yeah. Then the next one is I want to do the test one as well. So to be honest, you can write this thing. All you just need to know is you can write this thing without, or you just, so the reason why I'm doing this is so I want to run this test. I want to run this whole thing from here. I just want to run it as a test. That's why I'm putting the @test annotation, right? So you can see that I can run it now, yeah? And then the next thing is I want to add my rest assured library. So I'm going to go into my POM. So you can see that my POM is already, so you know what? Let me just do something. Let me just revert my POM. I was going to do something. I wanted to show you something before. So this is what I had. So this is what I had initially. My POM was like this. There was nothing in my POM, right? My POM was empty. So all I did was I asked, no, the thing is, the thing has already registered. I shouldn't, yeah, the thing has already registered. So, but to be honest, so what I did was the thing added my JUnit for me. This was empty before. This wasn't there. So when I asked it to import that JUnit, whatever, he added my, so when I said add whatever, add the class path, then he added my stuff to the POM. So the next one we are going to do is, so if you look at this one now, I think this one, if I say, show me what to do, okay, this one is going to use, I think you use a Java library anyway. So it's, yeah. Sorry, he uses the JUnit assertion. So, but this one we have to, for the rest assured, we have to go to Maven repository. Maven repository. So I don't know if you've had done this part in your automation, right? So when you go, Maven repository is just the place where all the libraries, or for Java projects are stored, or Maven projects are stored. So you just need to search for rest assured. And then you take, so you're looking for rest assured.io.rest assured. So you click on that, and then you take the latest dependency or library. So it has been copied to the whatever. And then it's automatically imported. I think because I've done it before, that's why it's able to reference it quickly. So if I go back now.
One question, Timmy. Why did you paste it at that particular place? Why not a different place?
Okay. So it has to be. So if you look at, let me undo it. So if you look at this structure, right? You have your dependencies here. Yeah. You have your opening dependency and your closing one, right? So this was all I wanted to just show them, but I can't undo it anymore. So this is the first dependency, the JUnit dependency or library that we are using in our test to run our test for the annotation in our test. This JUnit one is this before all is a JUnit annotation. You can see that there are JUnit, all of even the assertion is JUnit as well. So they make use of this POM. They make use of this library, right? So because we want to add another dependency to it, we need to keep all our dependencies together. There's a structure for this Maven XML file. All your dependencies are to be grouped within dependencies. So this is your opening one and this is your closing one. So if I take my dependency, some people might have error and say, okay, they go and paste it outside. You see that you have these compilation errors, right? So you need to be very careful and make sure that, you need to be very careful and make sure that when you're adding your dependencies, you add it to, what's happening? When you're adding your dependencies, you need to add it to your dependencies, right? So this is your dependencies or whatever. And then you need to make sure that you have everything has to stack on each other. So a lot of people will have that issue. They will go and put it somewhere. You don't go and put it outside of your project. If I put it outside here I'm going to have compilation error. You see, it's giving me one compilation error, and you don't put it outside of. So to be honest, if you by the time you start doing that, but by the time you start getting advanced in in writing automation framework, you have some properties that you have to add. So if you're adding, maybe like you're adding some, you want to run your test in one particular environment, you might add a property to it. You want to, you add some other, there are some other things that you can add. Maybe, you want to add some special effects or ask it to do some special things. Let me see if I can show you. Let me see if I can show you something that would make more. 1 second. Let me just show you this one. At least to give an understanding of what I'm trying to talk about. So it's going to take a while. So I'm going to wait for it to load up. The big projects. So I just want to show you the structure of how the POM works, so people don't have issues any further. Okay, so if you look at this POM now, you can see that this POM is is another, it's a bit large, so many things in it, right? So you can see that all the dependencies, all the libraries are within all the dependency are within the dependencies, right? So you can see all of them. Yeah, that's the structure. And outside of it is, if you want to add plugin, so maybe for build, if you want to add some effects, make it to do some things, you have some plugins, and then, so that's what I was trying to explain to you, that, everything has to follow a structure. Plugin will be within plugins. This is a plugin and is within plugin. Build is within build. Yep. Execution. So even within this build, you have plugins, you have plugin, you have executions, you have execution, you have configuration. So everything has to stack. There's a structure. Everything has to be inside each other. Dependencies, dependency. So everything has to stack like that. So that's just what I wanted to show you. So we've added our, so this one is, let me just do this one. So I don't even know which one I'm doing, which one I'm even doing now. So I've opened so many files. Okay. Yeah, so this was the one we're looking at earlier. So okay, that's fine. So so since we've added our rest assured library, what we need to do is just to import the class to this place. So import the class. Yeah, so it's imported the rest assured library. And then, everything we are doing is rest assured. So we just need to import our class. So rest assured response, and for the given, import static. You need to make sure that it is rest assured that you are importing, not something else. And the content type as well. Import class. So everything has to be, so you can see it is rest assured content type, rest assured responses, and we're just using basic JUnit assertion and also the before and at test annotation here. So that's all. That's basically what. So I'll just recap what this is. This is your URI, right? Let's make use of. let's use, I don't want to use, okay, well, let's try this one. So this is a URI. So what we are saying is that we are creating a variable called response. And what we are storing in that response is our requests. So everything that you are doing here, yeah, is basically what we are doing in the code, right? So we are saying, given my content type, yeah, and I do a get for of. So I need to shorten this to, oh, what have I done? Yeah. So I need to shorten this to, I need to put my path parameter here. So I think it's employee/employee, yeah. So when I get this, then I want to extract my response into this, yeah. And then this response that you have here is what is being called in the assertion. You are saying that I want to assert assertions does assert equals my response, this response. You can see that when I highlight this response, the other one, this one is being highlighted. My response status quo is 200. So all you just need to do is to run your test, just run your test. It's still building and it will come up now. So if everything works fine, we should have, it should pass. If, yeah, so actual expected 200, but actual is 404. So I think my path is wrong. This one is wrong. So what does the path say? So it says, okay, so employees/employees with the S. So you can say that, because we passed the wrong. So so from the explanation of what I gave you in the what forms a URI, this is the endpoint and this is the path. Yeah, so we're going to the path because we placed the wrong path here, then we are getting a 404. Yeah, so if I run it now, I should get a 200. So that means that our assertion is working. This is the assertion here. The assertion is working. So it says I expect 200, but I'm getting the 404. Yeah. Okay. So. Sometimes IntelliJ takes a while to do everything. Okay, so the reason why we're getting a 420, that's why I don't want to use this website. This website is messed up. That's why I don't want to use it. So, yeah, let me use this one. Let me just use this one. So I'll just basically run the same test. So it's the same thing, but this URL is just different and this path is different. So we are doing basically the same thing. It's just a simple GET request. So it will fail because I expect 100, but I'll change it later. So let it fail first, then I will change it back to. There's no status code called 100. I just put down there to verify whether it's going to pass or fail. So you see, all right. So it was expecting 100, but actually it's 200. But if I change this back to 200, so that should pass now. Yeah, so that passes now. So one thing I just want to do is I want to debug, right? So okay. So that if I want to show some, okay, let's debug. So if I debug this response, let me put a big point here. I just want to show you what is inside the response so that you have an understanding of, what's, so we'll see what is inside. We'll see the body, the response body for this one. Everything that, so this response, we want to see everything that is inside. Apart from the status code, there are so many things inside this response. So let us see. Well, let me put another big point here as well. Right, so it hasn't, I don't think it hasn't gone through the request yet. So my response is going to be blank. Yeah, so it hasn't gone through the request, so I should put it somewhere here. So let's wait for it to come to this point. This is line 26. Yeah, there's really nothing inside there. So okay. So another thing I can do is let me see, let me come here and see what is inside. I just want to try and see what's inside. There's nothing, it's blank, there's nothing in there. So yeah, so it's just the dummy website. There's really nothing in there anyway. So let's leave it as it is. But basically, has anyone got any question while we are doing this? If you just ask me any question and then I will respond. It's just something to show you that you can test, you can write API code without using automation. So it's not something that you can just follow what I've done. And so has anyone got any question? So while I'm waiting for your question, I just want to try this one. Maybe this one will work now. So this is our employees and the dummy website we've been using since. This one should have a response, should give us everything that we wanted. Yeah, okay, so this one should. So if I debug this one, I should, let me put breakpoint here. So if I debug this one, you should see the response body. So it says 200. So if I go back and say response.json path, the peak it's still coming back as okay, yeah, this is everything I wanted. So you can see that everything that you see, everything, this is our response, this is everything within our response. So this response here, yeah, if I go into the JSON path, because we are using our content type is JSON, right? So and then we are just like picking, pick when you pick into something, when you're trying to pick through a window to see what's happening in the room. That's what we are doing. So we are picking into the JSON part and trying to see what's inside there. It's basically the same thing when I do this get request. So when I click on this one, it's basically the same thing I've done. Well, I've just used code, exactly the same. So whatever I'm seeing here is exactly the same thing I'm seeing through IntelliJ. Yep. So it's exactly the same thing. The same thing is what, as we have here, is what we are seeing here. So, and then, you know, you can go on and go on. And so this one is a bit, complex in the sense that for you, the JSON is a bit complex. So it's an object within an object. So it has so many objects within so many objects, and you know, it has arrays within array and all that. So yeah, I wouldn't want to go into all that tonight. I'll just leave it as it is. But at least I can show you that. So get string type. So we can say, okay, let's do one thing though. So because let's see if we can get string ID is equals to 1. Let's see if it's going to pass. If I take out this assertion, expected ID JSON body. So if I say ID, or let's say if it says ID, ID1, let's see. So, yeah, string ID, no, it's not going to pass. So let's say, let's look for, yeah, name. Let's see if it's going to see this name. Get string, yeah, we're just getting a random string within it. Let's see if it's going to pass for a stop it. So as anyone go, okay, yeah, there's a question. Yeah, you can automate API with C# as well. To be honest, you can see exactly the same thing I've done here. You can do it with C#. I don't know whether you've been taught BDD. You can also put this into BDD as well. So. Say something. So unable to resolve class, invalid JSON expression. Invalid JSON path. So he's asking for JSON path. Yeah, so you know what? Let's leave it as it is, man. He's asking for a JSON path. So, yeah, so it's the JSON is not. We have to do so many things. Get the JSON back, pass it as a string, convert it to a string, and all that. So before because it's coming as a JSON object, you know. So yeah, but I'll leave it as it is. Yeah, I'll just leave it as it is. So well, so that's just a simple illustration of how you can get you can write automation with your to get an API. But by the time you get more advanced into it, you'll be able to. But I would suggest that, you know, we're just going to replicate what I've done here. It's quite simple, just so that you have your hands on this and try to, you know, understand what I've done. And then, you know, you can then start looking at how to convert, you know, JSON objects into Java objects, and then do a proper assertion or get it as a buffered stream, you know. You can use a buffer stream and all that, class and all that. So has anyone got any question? So I was going to show you one more thing before we go. Let this run and let it pass. That's fine. So one thing that you can also do is that for people that are saying, oh, I don't know Java, I can't write code, use a blah blah blah. You can also use IntelliJ Postman to write code as well. So if you go into Postman, if you click on tests, you have different snippets, code snippets, send a request, you see, so you can, Postman is also very intelligent, and Postman can help you to write tests. So I think Postman tests are written in, I think they are written in JavaScript. But if you want to assert something within the body, all you just need is to, your test name, function, JSON body, blah 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 blah. So you can play around with this. Once you get your endpoints, you get your test, you can play around with this. And let me just give you a simple one. So like you want to assert your status code, so it will once we run the test. Why is it a form? Okay, employees. Yeah, I have to wait. For. Is anyone asking any question? Has anyone got any question? Can you do post request? Yeah, we can do a post request, but I'm not doing a post request tonight. So we can do a post request. All you just need to, with the post request, all we just need to is to change this one into dot post. What happened? Yeah, then my laptop is becoming slow. Yeah, so yeah, posts. Yep, and then I think he's going to ask you for body or something. Body, yeah. And within the body, then hold on 1 second. So I don't want to go to the post one, because I don't want to. Yeah, body, request body. So you have your request body would have been something that you want to pass. Let me just show you. So you would have declared a request body somewhere here. Private string. Request body equals something. And then the dots post. And then, so I think is when, so post request body when post, yeah, so post request body then dots when, why is it not giving me? So content body when post then. So when Yeah, so why is it not giving me when and when? Yeah, so dot when. Okay, you know, let me just use this one. Yeah, so that's it. So our request body is this one. That's our request body, and our path is create. So, okay, so yeah, the endpoint is also different. So endpoint is also different. Yeah. All right, so basically the same thing we are doing is so the only difference between what we did earlier and this one is that in the get request, right, there was no body parameter, yeah. But in the post one, we have a private says I don't know call it static, it's going to work. So we have a string, we have a body. What are we passing in the really? I think I need to escape all these backslash. Okay, that's fine. So we have the request body. So everything we are sending our headers, which is the content type of the application.json, and body. This is the request body. When we do a create, this is the path parameter because it's different. So I need to check something, but I'm not. So it will give me error again. So create slash create. Let me just confirm. This, yeah, so create. Yeah, it's going to give me, that's fine. Okay, so V1, I need to take this script out of it. Okay, so let me run it and see. Yeah, you can also export the code to Java and Postman as well. I'll show you that one as well. Is it going to give us, is it 200 I should give us or 201? Yeah, okay. So too many requests. So the endpoint is, so I need to close, let me just close this windows. Okay, so let's see, we should work now. Yeah, we're still getting that for 29 as well. So it's because so there's a limit on the amount of requests you can make to that endpoint. Yeah. So, but in a nutshell, if you do this, if you replicate this, then it should, it should work. It should get 200. So I don't know. They blocked me from making too many. I've made too many requests. That's why I'm getting the 429. Too many requests. So the other thing is that you can also copy your code from Postman as well. I can't remember where do you copy code from?
You need to click on that code one.
Which
the
one?
one that looks like greater than, less than at your right hand side, up a bit.
Okay, this one. Yeah,
that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so this code.
Expand your screen. Why is it?
No, it's not code. This is code. There's a new format.
Can you expand your screen?
My screen. Okay, make it bigger. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's Postman has a new layout, which I'm not used to the new layout of this Postman. So code.
Yeah, I think yeah.
There's a new layout. I don't know what the new. This one is comments. I'm not on save changes now.
Yeah, this is the this one is different from the one I'm used to as well.
Yeah, I know that it's somewhere on the left, on the right as well, but code. Okay, no, let's Google it. So I just updated it.
No, I think that that one, that line, the line that you have. Yeah, exactly. If you can, try to reduce it.
I should reduce it or expand it. Reduce. No, it's gone.
Sorry, expand.
Yeah, so you see, it is saying code, but it's not saying anything.
See where you have the pen, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the other one. What do you have in the other one? No, the one beside the pen. Yeah, that one.
Comments mode. Comments.
Oh no. Okay.
So they changed the layout. Let's just Google it because I don't know. Even the runner has also used to be somewhere here, but they moved it to somewhere here. So let's just Google it. I doubt if this will work. This is very okay. Ports. No. I don't. I can't.
I think it should be that place. This one. Yeah. If you click on that code again, yeah.
If I move to code, if I move to the code, the thing is disappearing.
Can you expand your screen again? Yeah. Then click on the code again.
It's empty. It's not bringing up anything.
Yeah. Code snippet.
Sorry, what about if you go to where it says safe response underneath, where you have this like a search box there?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. No, the one next to it. The one next to it. That one, yeah. Is that not copy?
No. We're not copying. No, we're not copying the code. Postman is supposed to generate you code.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we're looking for that button. They've changed the layouts. They've moved things around.
Expand that one. Expand that screen again.
There's nothing there.
So, in here you are expected to see the code snippet language actually, right? So,
you know what? Let me. And I just updated it last week. I shouldn't have updated it, to be honest, because I don't normally use it anyway. I don't know.
how about the new tabs at the bottom? Maybe they might add it there. No, on the trash, the other one.
Bootcamp. Okay, let us.
After the trash, that one. Before that one.
This one.
That one, yeah.
Single plane.
Okay. Is it the last class, right?
Yeah, it's the last class. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so let me even update Arista. Let me see if they've another. Let me see if he's going to update Arista again. Oh. Okay, so so this one has passed now, but so no, this one is the this one is the post one. That one has passed now, and well, we can't. The website, the API is not very reliable, so. Maybe if you pay for the internship, and if you join the internship, maybe you can do a proper API with a proper whatever. Okay, someone said I sent a GET request to this, which was that I clicked code and got a code snippet. So can you share your code snippets with us? That's what we are trying to do. How did you get your code snippets? Robert, read. How did you get your code snippet? Are you using the show us? Tell us or show us how you got it. Let's my Postman come back.
I was using Postman, so I sent a GET request to that URI that I've put in the chat, and once it came back with a successful response of the status of 200, I then clicked on code, and it gives me the option to get a code snippet in various languages.
Yeah, that's what we are looking for. Yeah.
Do you want me to share my screen quickly?
Yeah, share your screen so that everyone can see. Yeah, let me just stop sharing it.
Oh, sure.
I'll give you co-host.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
So if you see over here, so
Okay, so what did you click on? What did you click on to
right,
get?
so here, right, let me close it and I'll show you again. So you were clicking on here before, right?
Yeah.
You get to nothing. I click on it, I get this. So it then gives me the option to get code snippets in various languages.
Yeah, that's what did you want to just click on the Java one, Java HTTP.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, so this one makes use of Java client. So this is different from rest assured. If you click the drop down again, let's see if we have rest assured. Scroll down. Nah. So it is using the inbuilt Apache clients for Java to build that code.
Okay. You know where you have the Java OK HTTP, you have Java Unirest.
Yeah,
that one.
Is that yeah. So that's Unirest as well. So you can either write it in either using REST or HTTP or Unirest if you want to write your code in. It's basically the same thing, but
okay.
I would say
but the only thing is like what's it called? Rest assured is widely accepted. So that's one that Temi is actually teaching. You can't get that out of the box from Postman.
Okay.
But of course, you can use this as for a start if you want to.
Okay, that's fine. I'm looking for that.
So I think what you guys need to establish is like, if you have the version that Temi has, so you might have the same issue. To be honest, I've never seen that before.
Come back on. If I share my screen, I can. It's coming back on now. It's showing all the code now.
Okay, after you restart.
Yeah. So I think you needed to update. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
All right. So should I stop sharing now and you take over again, Temi?
Yeah.
Okay.
We just to be honest, all I just want to do for the rest of the next 5 minutes, is just to if anyone's got questions that they want to ask. As I said to you, everything you've learned in the last 2 weeks, right, is good enough for you to get an interview. Yeah, it's good enough. If you work harder, you get the job. That's all I'll say, to be honest. But if you want to learn more, you come for the internship. And if you have any questions, please ask questions.
Okay.
So yes, so I can see before I couldn't see this. If I clicked on, no, I was clicking on this. I wasn't seeing everything, but now, so that was a problem with Postman. So yeah, that's the same thing Robert showed us, So and it's So we've done the get, we've done the post. This is the post. All you need to do is just to create a private string, store your body in it, process it within the request. So.
Oh, Timmy, sorry, just a quick recap. If you can just create one class and kind of copy and paste I think some people might be confused on how to do this end to end. If you can just quickly, I know this is possible within 5 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, let me just copy this. All right, so I'll just close it. I'll just close everything down again. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yeah, so that we can start afresh. I don't know whether you want to. Okay, do you want to make it as you want to just record it separately so that?
Okay, that would be good. Yeah, thanks.
All right, so this is just a quick guide on how to create a traditional method of REST request using a traditional method. So you open your IntelliJ, you click on new project, you click on Maven projects, ensure that you have your SDK or highlighted and selected. Click next, give it a title, test sample, and then click finish. So once you click finish, you get your project opened up. And yeah, so this is what I was trying to show you earlier. So you see that on our fresh project, we don't have any dependencies or anything. So you go into your SRC, you open that up, test, Java. So this should be green, Java should be green. So I think my IntelliJ is still, yeah. So Java is green. You right click, new, class, and then call it sample test class, yeah? Sample test. And then we're copying and pasting the old code that we used before. So you can see that everything is, you're having all the compilation errors. And if you go into your POM, you don't have any dependency or anything. So there are two ways to do it. You can either come here, yep, and then open a bracket and type dependencies, right? Like this one. So once you type the dependency, IntelliJ is, IntelliJ is so intelligent enough to give you your dependencies, right? That's one approach to do it. And then depending on what you want to use, you can, depending on, so if you want to use TestNG or JUnit to run your tests, you can then go to Maven repository. I showed you earlier, you can go to Maven repository and copy the library. If you type JUnit, you get the library and type search. It's quite slow, I don't know. So you can, JUnit, blah, blah, blah. That's one approach. You can copy this and go and paste it manually. Or you can ask IntelliJ, to help you out. Yeah. If you right click on that before, if you click on this intelligence, it's show context actions, click on that, then it will guide you. It can ask you to add Maven dependence, which you can do, yeah, or you can add the JUnit 5, whatever. So the same thing like what I did when I went to Maven repository was, okay, this one is a long process. I have to update my indexes, but you can use that. So that will do it automatically for you if you update your indexes, but just add the JUnit path. So it will import it automatically for you. And once it's done, you can use, if you look at the bottom of the screen, it says indexing, importing, and doing all that. So if you go back to your POM, you'll see that it would have created the JUnit dependency for you automatically, yeah? And then it will update itself when a new release comes out. So the same thing, just because we have imported this JUnit before, we need to also do the same thing for tests. So you can either add or import the class. Yep. So because we have JUnit already, so we just imported the class. So the next thing is we can. So if I had done my updated all my indexes, then I should be able to add I should be able to get this like add maybe dependency, but it's not bringing it up for me, so I have to add it manually. So you go here, you search for rest assured, click on rest assured. Yeah, copy the rest assured library, 4.4. That's the latest one. Copy that and then come to your POM. Come to your POM, and then, so as I said before, everything has a structure. Because you are copying a dependency, if you look at this, it says dependency. Yeah, you have to put it in between the dependencies. Yeah, so you can copy it and paste it. Just go to the next line after that dependency, paste it in, then automatically rest assured, Maven will start doing the importing itself. If it's not doing the importing itself, so immediately you paste the library, you will see something coming up here like small m. Just click on it, then it will start doing the importing for you, in case everything is still red. Yeah. So the next thing is go back to your tests and just import the libraries. Still coming up. I don't know, my laptop is still coming up. Yeah, just import the class. So rest assured, if you go up, you see rest assured has been imported. You need to do the same thing for this as well. Response has been added, rest assured response. And then you want to add the rest assured given, import rest assured given, yeah? And then your assertion is using traditional JUnit assertion. So just using the JUnit assertion. So, and then if you run your test hopefully, your test shows. So you can either run the whole class. Not like the other one that we did, that I showed you, that I did the get on another class. You can have your get here as well and just run your get. So you can either run as a whole class, or you can just run the test at test on its own. So let's see how it works. So IntelliJ has become so slow lately. So yeah, so that's it. I think we can stop. Yeah, so that's it. So that's just a quick way of doing the traditional method without using BDD. But you can as well split this up, but that's for future class. We can split this up into the BDD format and use the given when then, and restructure the whole test. Yeah. So yeah. I think in the absence of any question, I think we can call it a day.